Hi everyone, Bernard here. I hope you're all staying safe and well, and welcome to my film and TV channel. I hope you enjoy what I've got for you today, and please check out as you're watching this little links on screen as well for different things on my Facebook and Twitter, and of course my football channel as well. And please, all your comments are very welcome. Just let us know and push that subscribe button. Don't forget, please push the subscribe button. Make sure your notifications set to public as well if you want to know when these vlogs are coming out. Push that notification button as well. So anyway, please enjoy. Today we're looking at a film that has sort of divided opinion, to say the least, and obviously you'll probably, every time we get one of these, we get a few little comments on these reviews. I'm just trying to share what other people are thinking and what I thought of it as well. I mean, I'm trying to be reasonable with this, having watched it. It's is it my demographic? Probably, because around when the first one was out, I used to have this in the old video shop. Of course, we're looking at Space Jam today. So we're looking at Space Jam A New Legacy. Obviously the original Space Jam used to have lots of posters on that, sold all those very quickly in the old days, but yeah, Space Jam A New Legacy is out now. So as I say, I wasn't overly impressed with the original, but we'll talk about that in a bit anyway. So what did I think of this new one, and what other people more importantly thinking about this new one as well, because let's do a little look at what other people are thinking in these reviews, don't we? Right, Space Jam A New Legacy, an hour and 55 minutes, of course a live action animated, so you've got the old cartoon animation plus the modern stuff as well comes into it as well, which is interesting. It's nice to see. Directed by Malcolm D. Lee, serving as a standalone sequel, yes, to 1996's Space Jam, but you don't particularly have to go back and re-watch 1996 Space Jam. I mean, you can if you want, because there's nothing wrong with it, but no, it is what it is. It's the first theatrically released film to feature the Looney Tunes characters since Back in Action back in 2003. And of course the combination of live action and traditional hand-drawn animation plus 3D CGI effects. So everything, you get your throw the old kitchen sink at this one. The film, of course, stars basketball player LeBron James. I think I've just about heard of him. I'm not a keen basketball fan. As a fictionalised version of himself, along with Don Cheadle, who I definitely have heard of. I thought he was okay. Chris Davis, yeah, excellent. Sonequa Martin Green, again, very good. And Cedric Joe in live action roles. And of course, we've got the Looney Tunes. So we've got voices, haven't we, which include the voices acting for the Looney Tunes of Jeff Bergman, Eric Bauza, and Zendaya. Set in the shared Warner Brothers virtual space multiverse. Yeah, of course it's going to be. The film follows James teaming up with the Looney Tunes to win a basketball match. Or does he win it? We give it away. That's shocking. To win a basketball match against digitised champions to rescue his son from a rogue AI, artificial intelligence. It's released, of course, by Warner Brothers. You'll certainly know that when you watch this film. There's no hiding behind the door on who's put this film together. It was released on the July the 16th, 2021, both in theatres in the US. It's now out to watch also in the UK and other territories, I'm sure. And it's actually on HBO Max if you're a subscriber to that for a month after its theatrical release. So a month from July the 16th. Of course, it's called it the serververse in this, all the action takes in Warner Brothers serververse. And of course, you're going to have a look out for all the other things Warner Brothers linked, aren't you? Which is part of the fun of the film for me. I quite liked looking for stuff from Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Mad Max, Matrix, Casablanca, The Wizard of Oz, King Kong, Iron Giant, Rick and Morty. There you go, DC Universe, etc., etc. And crowd scenes with the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange, what a classic. The Gremlins, Stripe gets involved there. Beetlejuice, Robocop, Boo Boo Bear, Dick Dastardly, Muttley, Penelope Pitstop. I used to love Penelope Pitstop. Flintstones, of course, the Rubbles, the Great Gazoo, Top Cat, Scooby-Doo, all these are included very briefly. I mean, not big parts of the thing. The rest of the Mystery Inc., of course, apart from Scooby-Doo, Gleep from the Herculoids, I've never heard of them. They're the only ones I haven't so far. Frankenstein Jr., Buzz Conroy, Space Ghost, Maito, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot from the Animaniacs, Tony Soprano, Gandalf, Frodo Baggins, well, you got a Frodo, Gollum, Lion-O, Chitara from Thundercats. My kids used to love Thundercats. Mama Fratelli from the Goonies, of course. Baby Jane from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And The Mask. Yeah, so all those features. How can this movie go wrong? How can anyone do a downer on this movie? Well, we're going to see, aren't we? Because the scores, as at the 18th of July 2021, 9 a.m. UK time, the scores Rotten Tomatoes, an approval rating of 31%, 31% based on 131 reviews, an average rating of 4.8 out of 10. Not so good. 41 fresh and 90 rotten. The site's consensus, despite LeBron James' best efforts to make a winning team out of the Toon Squad, Space Jam: A New Legacy trades the zany meta-humour of its predecessor for a shameless and tight exercise in IP-driven branding. There you go. Well, not all the way through. Yeah, a lot of it, but not all of it. Not many fresh for this one, and to be honest with you, I think I only found 2 critics who gave it a fresh review. But I think this pinpoints one of the best things about the film. This is Amy Nicholson from Variety. She said, "Did the Goon Squad just dunk on LeBron James? Who cares when our eyeballs are busy identifying a group of rowdy fans as the Droogs from A Clockwork Orange?" I think that sort of sums up some of the best elements of this film. Kimber Myers, though, sums up some of the rottenest elements, the rotten rating thoughts. She writes for Crooked Marquee, a Warner Brothers studio store in movie form, and equally as bankrupt. Space Jam: A New Legacy doesn't so much celebrate the historic brand's legacy as it exploits it. So that's a very common theme. But the verified Rotten Tomatoes audience, we have a verified audience now. These are the guys who actually paid. These are the guys who actually bought tickets to go and watch these films. So yeah, I think I'll listen to what these guys are saying, I suppose. If you look at all audience, not just the verified ones, it's only getting a 3.1 out of 5, which isn't great, but it's still about 56%, so not too bad, not too far behind that 6 out of 10 that I always look for in a film. But if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes audience that are verified, they've actually put their hands in the pocket, actually paid to watch this. It's a massive 4.1 out of 5. That's 82% rating out of 100. So that just shows, doesn't it? If you've gone to the theatre to watch this, people liked it. Simple as that. Even though everything else is telling us, and I'm going to carry on with this, that it's not that hot. Metacritic. We look at Metacritic, don't we? An average score of just 36 out of 100 based on 35 critics, 4 positive, 16 mixed and 15 negative. So not great, just 4 positive. It scores anywhere between 20 and 83, but literally there's only one score over 50 out of 100. All the rest are 50 out of 100 of that 35 scores. All the rest are either 50 or less. But even the one who gave it 70 out of 100, it's IGN, gave it 70. Accept the obvious faults. They say, this Space Jam: A New Legacy enters the 21st century with LeBron James, impressive visuals, more personal stakes, and a fantastic villain in Don Cheadle. I agree. Unfortunately, the movie is too concerned with showcasing Warner Brothers' biggest franchises that Bugs Bunny and friends get sidelined in their own movie. So yeah, even though he's give it 7 out of 10, he is pointing out, I think, the main flaw that other people are pointing out in a more negative way. I sort of look for the positives as well. The Metacritic users 174, 38 were positive, 9 were mixed, 127 negative. They don't really like it. An average score of just 27 out of 100, so they're even worse than the critics. But Internet Movie Database, here we go. Joe Public, you, me, everyone else. And again, I've done a couple of things with this just to make it a bit more interesting. 13,441 scores and reviews. Obviously, there's not many reviews. That's mainly scores. People just going on, logging in and putting a score down without saying why, which is never great, is it? But so they should have a verified thing on there, shouldn't they, I think? 4.2 out of 10. Not great. And of that 13,441, 5,291 gave it a 6 or more. That's 39%. Not a total disaster, but not fantastic. But a slight improvement. I'm not going to say it's that's a big difference. If you take out the 1 out of 10s and you take out the 10 out of 10s, which are just people being extreme. I mean, at the end of the day, if I see a review around 3, 4, 5 or 6, 7, 8, I think that's a fair review. But if you take out the 1s and 10, 1 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s, that leaves 7,619 actual scores, of which 3,303 score anywhere between 6 and 9 out of 10. So that's 43%. So again, all right, it's not half the viewing public, but it's getting up there, isn't it? It's a little bit better than what we just did. But I think that's a fairer reflection. really on the IMDb, because let's face it, I've looked through a lot of the reviews. There are a lot of written reviews on there, and I think they do echo what I've already commented on the critics and stuff like that with the product placement, etc, etc. But yeah, I think that's a fair result. But I say up towards the 50% probably is more reasonable. Right, my little thoughts for what they're worth. My little two pennyworth to finish off this this vlog on Space Jam: The New Legacy. The original, I look back at the original, it's got an IMDb rating of 6.5 out of 10, so not massive. And on Metacritic, the critics, it only got 59 out of 100. So even though there's a lot of love going back for this, there's a lot of people perhaps remembering it falsely, perhaps remembering better things than it actually was. As I said, when I had it in my video shop, it was reasonably popular. I would have bought a few copies. It was a Disney title. You could actually, in those days, get them quite cheaply and rent them out. So you sort of stuck 10 or 12 on the shelf, which is quite a lot of videos, when they're normally costing you 60, 70 pound. These were probably costing 13, 14 pound, because they were sort of retail, Disney retail stuff. So we did gain from that, but it was reasonably popular. I made money on it, but I don't think it was that fantastic. As I said, I'm not a big basketball fan. But the plus point with Space Jam, 88 minutes. This is the big difference. What's this one? This New Legacy, 115 minutes. Far, far too long. All right, they have to justify the $150 million budget, which I don't believe in a million years they're going to get anywhere near that, because I think they have to get about $450 million back just to break even with all the promotion, etc. around the world. So that's a lot of money down the drain, in my opinion, because I can't see, based on some of these reviews, a lot of people going out and watching it, which is a shame, because, as I say, the people that went to the theatre on Rotten Tomatoes to watch it were quite impressed. You're talking about an 80% positivity. This was bound to get stick, yes, from both the critics and the public. Even before people had watched it, they probably made assumptions of what was going to go on. And of course, yeah, the product placement, maybe it's an ultimate turn off for many. But if you know it's there, it doesn't really make that much difference. I mean, I was aware of it before I watched the thing, so it's not going to be. I just looked at it with a smile on my face. I didn't get too het up about it or upset about it, which people tend to do. There are elements, as I said, of the public who loved it, and you can't discount that Rotten Tomato verified audience who've actually watched it on the big screen as well, if you like, in the theatres. So that's a good little cross section, isn't it, as well? So there you go. That means a lot to me as far as ratings concerned. So it's not a total disaster based on that. The annoying thing for me is, if you look at the Space Jam, which was 88 minutes, in this film of 115 minutes, all right, it's probably about 10 minutes credits. So yeah, it's 105 minutes, an hour and 45, let's say. There is an half decent 85 minutes in here somewhere, but I find myself sort of just drifting off from time to time. I was watching it because there's a lot of great animated stuff, fantastic animated stuff, and I obviously loved this stuff growing up as a kid in the UK. We love Looney Tunes. We used to have a 5-10 minute cartoon before the news every night and stuff like that. It was just, and then I'd watch the news after, because that's the sort of guy I was, even at a very young age. I used to like having a bit of fun, but I used to like the serious stuff as well. I always have done. So yeah, so many great memories when you did watch. You got a chance to watch the characters. As someone said earlier, you don't always get they don't get the screen time perhaps they deserve. But yes, if you can know the self-promotion, which is bound to be. And of course, part of the fun, as stated before, was looking for all those characters from all those other films, in the crowd. And you can actually go back and watch again just to try and pinpoint and rewind and look again. And if you've got it on D or HBO Max or whatever, you can actually stop it and look for these characters. And that's all part of the fun of the film, as well as an okay storyline. I mean, it's pretty basic, but it is what it is. I think the animation was absolutely brilliant. I think that it was shot and super. I mean, anything's going to get 10 out of 10. I never give anything 10 out of 10, you know that, but that would come close. Top marks for the animation, how it's been put together, the CGI mixed with the hand-drawn animation, etc., etc. Absolutely superb. Acting, yeah, generally from the humans. There's a couple exceptions to this, but generally from the humans, it's pretty rubbish. But it's no surprise that the cartoon characters, are far more human and far more efficient at their acting side than the human counterparts. So there you go. So as you can guess from this, I'm not going to have a total downer on this, and I think it's unfair to have a total downer on this. And whether it's my opinion, I don't think it's as bad as I expected it to be. I've seen a lot of reviews before I watched it, and it just wasn't as bad as they said. As I said, if you know the placements there, if you know they're going to just show all this stuff for Warner Brothers and the linked places, of course, the linked organisations. I mean, so what? I mean, you know it's going to be in there. Just try and enjoy the film for what it is. All right, as I said, it's far too long. They went on too long with it. I mean, as I said, basketball pretty much bores me, to be honest. I didn't mind playing it when I was at high school, but that's a long time ago, as you can probably gather. But watching it is tiring and boring to me. But at least the basketball sequences in this added with that animated characters and the video game feel to it as well. The video game styling was made it at least watchable. So I didn't mind the basketball side of it, to be honest with you. So my score, yes, I'm gonna go for my watchable score. I'm not gonna go mad, but you know my watchable score, 6 out of 10. But yes, there is far too much commercial filler. But yes, if you know that's in there, forget it. And okay, as I said, out of a 115-minute film, I probably enjoyed at least 65 minutes of it. And I said mainly the animation and the reaction of characters with human characters. I mean, I like LeBron James as a cartoon. I thought that was one of the best bits of it when he was animated for a while in the actual film itself. That sort of appealed to me. In the same way, I like obviously the old things like Jessica Rabbit and all this sort of thing. That's them sort of films. I do like that mix of human and animation. I do like good animation, and this is superb. And yeah, more cartoons perhaps, less of the humans, more of the where's Pennywise. That's good. It's good. Obviously, they can't miss Pennywise. He's on the front row. But yeah, just looking for all these characters is part of the fun of the film. And yeah, definitely with this film, a case of less would have certainly been more, but I will give it 6 out of 10, which is a watchable rating. As I say, don't be too down on it and just accept it for what it is. I mean, Warner Brothers, why not self-promote? That's just one of the things, but it's such a shame that they didn't perhaps just self-promote themselves a little bit less, unfortunately. Anyway, let me know what you think if you get to watch this. Thanks for watching. What are we going to do the rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families, more importantly. Let's all look after each other. To meet here again on the Film and TV channel, or perhaps have a flit across. Have a look at my Citizen channel, my football channel. I only ask one thing. Please, stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.